Hi guys, it's Kara from Goddess to Goodness. I'm just jumping on right now because I'm being guided to put this out there. So, what is spiritual awakening or spiritual ascension? Or I'm getting the word, what is spiritual remastering? It's this Aries full moon, and I don't know. I've been on this journey for a couple of years now, and I have like certain. Excuse me, sorry, it's 5 in the morning. But yesterday I had like a really intense, like another awakening, and a lot of times that involves like a trigger, an emotional release, and not even emotional release, but it's like a release of, how can I explain it? Like a release of past trauma, a release of past karma. It can come in all kinds of things, but it's usually like a release of something that doesn't serve you anymore. And it's like followed with like, you know, like there could be like crying, anger, you know, a lot of emotions, depending on what it is that is being released. And then after that, it is like a moment of clarity. And it's not a moment, it's a moment of clarity that stays with you. It's like an epiphany that like stays with you and like changes you. It changes your thinking. And most of the time this happens, it changes your thinking, and it's usually for the better of you. I mean, I would say I've never had this happen and had it turn out where I it's always like a better version of me afterwards. Okay, it's and then what does it feel like sometimes? So, after this happens, you have this intense, these intense emotions come up, this realization or this clarity. And then sometimes the feelings after that can, the physical symptoms are, you could feel exhausted. You can feel wiped out. You could feel like you have flu symptoms. And it doesn't always happen like this, but usually what begins these processes is it can be something traumatic that happens in your life which triggers this, or or it can be like you meet a certain person, like a somebody you have a connection with, either like in a past life, usually some kind of connection in a past life, or like an energetic connection with the person, and they trigger this in you, and you begin, having these every so often. Okay, so let's see. What is this doing? What this is doing is it's actually like up leveling you on a spiritual level. And spiritual, when I say spiritual, it's more about of you connecting with your highest self, your, like, what your purest soul essence wanted you to be in the first place. It's about like, I have this one card in one of my oracle decks, and it's a fairy oracle, and it says undressing of a salad. So it is essentially an undressing of your salad. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I went through this yesterday, a real intense awakening, and today it's almost like yesterday I had bone chills. And today it's almost like I have flu symptoms. Like my body is sore. I'm exhausted, just wiped out, very congested. And this is like the residuals of me, healing this. You could have digestive issues, upset stomach today. I've had a headache all day, and I don't ever like get headaches. But anyways, again, it's like it feels like the flu, but it's not. So back to what I was saying is that these little awakenings or occurrences, that again, it's usually like there are times where it can be like really intense. And then there's other times that it's just not. And you're like, oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Like that's it. Like, like, wow. And it's about you looking at something in like a whole completely different perspective. For me yesterday, I don't know. I can't say I've ever really had one so intense as this. And in my case, I feel like I may have been picking up on like it's like my soul counterpart's energy, and that in turn triggered me, and so that's, if you want to look into it, there's like this can be as a result of like meeting your soulmate, coming into contact with your soulmate, your twin flame, whatever. But again, this can be initiated by that kind of thing, or this can be initiated by like like a traumatic life experience, like a near death experience, a very traumatic experience. This can happen after, like, if you have like a traumatic life event where, like, say like you cross over for a minute and like you get brought, like you're having surgery and they bring you back, you know what I mean? But oftentimes this is often the things that spark this type of these awakenings. But like yesterday, I had one, and again, I've been on this journey for quite a while, and I've never felt one so intense. For a minute, I don't know, I was experiencing all kinds of like emotions. I was like kind of scared for a minute. I'm like, am I like going crazy? Like I mean, it was it was extremely intense. And I just really, it lasted until today, like all day today, and then I have these like flu-like symptoms. So I was led to jump on here and to kind of just mention like what this is, and when this happens, like, the best thing is just like go with it and try to come out through it like on the other side with an appreciation for that clarity. And like I said, that clarity is going to lead you to the undressing of that salad. And by that, what I mean is our highest soul. We're born here in the most pure essence ever. If you picture a salad just being pure lettuce. And then through life experiences, people, society or family or ancestral programming or generational beliefs or patterns, experiences that lead us to adopt certain behavioral patterns or defense mechanisms. These are all the dressings that go on our salad, okay, essentially, right? And so and then the dressing, and, like if you picture a salad and you put on your salad dressing, your bacon bits, your Parmesan cheese, your salt and pepper, go ahead and try to like now make that lettuce pure again. It's impossible. But these spiritual awakenings or spiritual ascensions or spiritual remastering, if you want to call it, That's essentially what this is doing. Is it's removing the dressings on the salad, on that pure lettuce, which is like your highest, your your purest essence of who you are. Okay, this is like digs down past what you believe your identity is. This digs down past what your beliefs are, what your patterns are, what your behaviors are. And this is really digging down to the absolute purest essence and trying to return you to that pure lettuce again. Like, when you were born here onto this earth, your soul, your purest essence of yourself would be equivalent to the plain, like the not plain, but the purest lettuce. Like, well, the lettuce is still attached to, the roots. Like, that's as pure as it gets. There's like dew on it, and it's like crisp and, fresh, and it's unadulterated. Okay. And so when this spiritual awakening happens, and you go through these little like mini ascensions or mini awakenings, or if you look it up on Google, it can be called like like a spiritual purge or spiritual release. There's a karmic purge. There's all different kinds of names for it, no matter how you word it. But essentially, the purpose of it is to get you back to that purest essence of yourself and remove all the dressings that life puts on you. Okay, and usually this happens after you have learned certain lessons, or because again, it's helping you get out of those patterns, like that karma. And karma is like the learning of lessons of issues you may have, that your soul has from a past life. It may be ancestral karma that's passed down, through thousands of years of generation to generation to generation, and like certain ways of thinking and adopting excuse me, certain thought patterns and certain, when it's from your ancestors, it's literally genetic. Okay, and I'll go over this in another thing sometime, but generational things, to where like your immediate family line believed certain ways or acted in certain ways, or, and this can be, things like abuse or religious beliefs, or money constraints, or ways you think about money or sex or identity, or and these are passed down like from your great great grandparents to your great grandparents to your grandparents to your parents to you. And it might be, again, these things aren't usually intentionally passed down, or maybe they are, but we adopt all these dressings that life has to put on us, and then we have our own experiences, our own dressings that our own life puts on. And somebody may have treated you in a certain way, and you kept running into a certain type of behavior pattern with like over and over again with different people. And then this spiritual awakening, or these little mini awakenings, or whatever they are, they try to, like, once you begin to like learn these lessons and like understand, like, like begin to have that understanding, it's like the divine and the universe's and your highest soul's way of returning you back to that pure essence. So it's like undressing that salad. And that is the point of like these little spiritual awakenings, or like I like to call it like spiritual remastering. Like, you ever hear of like a movie and they're like digitally remastered for Blu-ray, or digitally remastered? It's kind of like, it's still you. It's just like a pure, more refined version of yourself. It's more refined because it's, again, it's it's removing those dressings like layer by layer by layer in order to return you to the purest essence of who you really are. So I don't know. I was guided to share that with you guys. I love you so much. And yeah, thanks for excusing my coughing. I just, it really is like I have the flu today, but I don't. But that's one of the residual effects. And so little ascensions and little awakenings can appear like just that, where like you might just feel like you have this, you might be exhausted for like no reason, or you might be anxious for no reason or whatever. And a good thing to do is you can always like ask yourself, where is this coming from? Or but usually like it's going to lead you to like question things, or question things you've done or ways you've thought. And another euphemism for this is like existential crisis. Okay, so if you identify with any of these scenarios or words or phrases, then chances are that you've gone through or are going through spiritual awakening, spiritual ascension, or like spiritual remastering. Okay. And so don't worry. It's literally meant to it's meant to serve you in the highest good, in the highest good of who you are and who you are in this lifetime and your highest soul purpose. It's actually bringing you closer with the universe and with the divinity within you. Okay. Because that's where the divine resides. After all, we are made of stardust. So I love you guys. And, be well. And again, all my love. If you guys do, like, have a moment where you do need, like, personal readings or anything like that, all my information is usually in the videos below. If not, you can direct message me on Facebook at Goddess to Goodness. And thank you so much for your time, your support, and your love. Again, be well, guys. I love you. Night.